the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong baghaw. May dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Dilim, lupa ng araw ng walhatit pagsinta. Buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Much has been written about the exemplary leadership of President Ramon Magsaysay. But this precious and inspiring glimpse into one of the greatest world leaders of his time can only come from his children. As the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation prepares for our milestone year, our 65th anniversary in 2023, today is a good time to look back. In order for us to move forward, and in so doing, keeping the memory and the legacy of President Ramon Magsaysay, his greatness of spirit, alive for many generations yet to come.
My father, the president, only lived 49 years. He was president at 46.
He would say, pag nakikita nyo na maraming ginagawa yung katulong natin, huwag na kayo humingi ng tubig, get your own water, help out because this help of ours is being overloaded. Respect the time and space of the ordinary people. I think his model of leadership is servant leadership, but it's also transformational.
Relatives were not allowed in public office.
How honest was the late president. The only house he built was our small house in Singalong. Did not build another house because he wanted to set the example.
Most presidents on their first year go to America. He has been invited every year, and he would always say he had a lot of homework.
Hard work, honesty, and courage. So that's important for young people.
That moment at the funeral, when I saw the people lining up, perching on trees, buildings, kneeling, crying, sobbing, God, this is what he accomplished. He accomplished the love of the people.
64 years have passed since the first Ramon Magsaysay Awards have been given. We are filled with pride and gratitude for the many strides the Foundation and all 344 Ramon Magsaysay laureates have collectively achieved for Asia since 1958. Yet, there is so much more work to be done. We are filled with excitement and hope that burns brightly as we forge ahead into our next chapters, always anchored on greatness of spirit. We will continue to aspire and be inspired as we invite everyone in Asia to boldly take strides with us, whether young or old, in walking towards a more empowered, compassionate, and hope-filled Asia.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 64th Ramon Magsaysay Awards presentation ceremonies. The chairman of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, Aurelio Luis Montinola III.
The Board of Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, the family of the late President Ramon Magsaysay, headed by Senator Ramon Magsaysay Jr. and Mrs. Milagros Magsaysay Valenzuela, members of the Diplomatic Corps, all our distinguished Ramon Magsaysay laureates here in Manila and watching us across all of Asia. Our extraordinary 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardees, Gary Benchegib from Indonesia, Sotiara Chim from Cambodia, Tadashi Hattori from Japan, and Bernadette Madrid from the Philippines. Friends, ladies, and gentlemen, welcome to the 64th Ramon Magsaysay Awards presentation ceremonies. After decades of holding this annual presentation amid much ceremony on a dramatically lit stage in the presence of hundreds of guests, we find ourselves here, led back by circumstance and necessity to the place that has truly always been home for the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation. The Ramon Magsaysay Center is home to us, and this hall, built in 1967, has only been lightly renovated since. But if you look around you, it has retained the timeless elegance, simplicity, and honest energy that also characterized the man who inspired the awards. In a February 1954 article for The Atlantic, then United Nations Secretary General Carlos P. Romulo wrote, quote, President Ramon Magsaysay, who assumed office on December 30, is a man of boundless energy, mentally alert, inspired by a vision of a brighter future for his people. He is no philosopher of freedom, but he is certainly a lighter for freedom. And there is none today as fearless and devoted as he in a part of the world where there is a grave shortage in the leadership for freedom. A lighter of freedom is surely someone who ignites in others the desire to uplift, to free those who live in the hopeless darkness of poverty, ignorance, hunger, and injustice. It is a perfectly apt phrase to describe Ramon Magsaysay, as well as this year's Ramon Magsaysay awardees. For over 20 years now, Bernadette J. Madrid has tirelessly and passionately worked to ensure that our children live free from fear and harm through her groundbreaking work in this country. She is a bright torchbearer for the children of the Philippines and Asia. Sotiera Chim has been trying to free the Cambodian people from the shackles of trauma and distress that have gripped them for generations. He has courageously addressed his people's broken courage with resolve, gentleness, and humility, ever mindful of the unique cultural experience of his people. He is a beacon of hope to those who have lived in the dark shadows of Cambodian history. Few know that thousands of Vietnamese people have faced the threat of living with seriously impaired eyesight with little hope of the much-needed surgical remedy. Japan's Tadashi Hattori, a doctor whose compassion and benevolence extends beyond the borders of his home country, has restored the vision of thousands, allowing them to continue living productive lives free of assistance. He is a steady blaze that illustrates the model of individual social responsibility. One of our youngest Ramon Magsaysay awardees, Gary Benchegib, imagined a world free of plastic pollution. With his trademark zeal and charm, he has charted his own future and the future of his adoptive country by taking those first courageous steps towards making his dream a reality. Thanks to him, Asia has a workable model. Surely, his youthful light will shine even brighter in the years and decades to come. Bernadette Madrid, Sotiera Chim, Tadashi Hattori, and Gary Benchegib spark and spread light in the seeming confusion of our world today. Tonight, we are proud to present them as recipients of Asia's premier prize and highest honor, the Ramon Magsaysay Award. Here we can glean that light of freedom that the late Carlos Romulo wrote about, and we can all bask in the glow of a shared future. All because of them, along with our other past Magsaysay laureates, have chosen to continue the legacy of Ramon Magsaysay. Can we pause for a moment as I request all past Ramon Magsaysay laureates to please stand and be honored together with our 4 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardees. In 2023, the award will celebrate its 65th anniversary. As we herald our milestone year, the Foundation reaffirms our commitment to celebrating greatness of spirit and transformative leaders in Asia. The Foundation will pursue its time-honored tradition of seeking out leaders who inspire us, transformative and selfless leaders who devote themselves to building and lighting new paths for Asia and its peoples. We can confidently say that in a changing world, our dedication to this mission remains unchanged. But the Foundation cannot do it alone. We shall need your support. Perhaps it is no accident that you elected to join us tonight. After all, are we not all in need of inspiration to fuel our dreams for a better Asia? We thank you for celebrating with us the hopes and aspirations of more promising times, the start of new partnerships, and the deepening of current ones. You manifest our abiding faith in what we all can do together, generating a collective light that can truly make all of Asia shine. Thank you.
The members of the Board of Trustees will now read the citations for the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardees. The 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Award for Emergent Leadership. Gary Benchegib.
I feel like, when you've gone and traveled to the worst places in the world, at least for me, it was impossible to look away from it. I really needed to have my hands inside of the problem, to know that daily we were contributing, more greatly towards solutions and also towards impact. I think that, age oftentimes is seen as a boundary. We've never sort of seen it as an issue. We're here looking for solutions. We're engaging in real action. And I think that, action speaks a million words. When people see true impact, they can't ignore it.
The United Nations has called marine plastic pollution a slow-moving catastrophe that threatens the economy, health, and well-being of nations. It is a global trans-border problem that should challenge all, since plastic dumped in countries like Indonesia and the Philippines, carried by ocean currents, can appear on the shores of Kenya or Tanzania in Africa.
In Indonesia, a young Frenchman, Gary Benchegib, is a remarkable, surprising warrior in the fight against plastic pollution. In Bali, where he lives with his parents, he discovered early on that Bali was not entirely tourism's picture-perfect paradise. Over 30,000 tons of plastic waste travel down the island's waterways annually. Indonesia itself is the world's largest contributor of marine plastic pollution in the world after China, accounting for over 600,000 tons of plastic dumped into the world's oceans every year. Gary was only 14 years old when he and his sister Kelly, age 16, and brother Sam, 12, started a weekly beach cleanup with friends. This effort turned into an organization called Make a Change World that produced inspiring, educational multimedia content on plastic pollution and environmental protection. In Indonesia and the United States, where Gary took up film studies in New York, Gary and his team pursued what he calls crazy ideas, like exploring the polluted waterways of New York City and circumnavigating the island of Bali in a repurposed traditional fishing boat. To raise environmental awareness, particularly among the young, they would produce more than 100 videos on plastic pollution and environmental protection, posted them on YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms, from short-form videos to feature films that have been seen by millions. In 2017, they kayaked and filmed an expedition on Citarum River in West Java, dramatizing the state of what was called the world's most polluted river. The documentary series generated wide public interest and triggered a response from President Joko Widodo as the Indonesian government embarked on a 7-year Citarum River rehabilitation program. This would inspire Gary to move from publicity to field implementation when he established Sungai Watch in 2020. In the project, locally fabricated, movable trash barriers are installed at strategic points of a river. The trash daily collected and sorted by staff and volunteers and audited in a process in which each piece of plastic is identified according to type, brand, and producer. It is an all-around, data-driven effort that involves community participation, partnerships with organizations, and corporate sponsorships of individual trash barriers. Sungai Watch likewise runs Indonesia's first trash hotline for citizens to report trash locations on a dedicated WhatsApp line. To date, Sungai Watch has 150 trash barriers in Bali and collected over 1 million kilograms of organic and non-organic waste. The organization aims to install 1,000 trash barriers across Indonesia's most polluted rivers. Gary says, the problem of plastic pollution is a huge one, but if we have that dream, that conviction, and that passion, then things can happen.
In electing Gary Benchagib to receive the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Award for Emergent Leadership, the Board of Trustees recognizes his inspiring fight against marine plastic pollution, an issue both intensely local as well as global. His youthful energies in combining nature, adventure, video, and technology as weapons for social advocacy, and his creative, risk-taking passion that is truly a shining example for the youth and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardee from Indonesia, Gary Benchagib. Gary Benchagib of Indonesia will now deliver his response.
Maligayang pagbati sa Pilipinas na walang plastic. Now imagine if that was a saying, welcome to a plastic-free Philippines. Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Foundation, members of the Magsaysay family, fellow Ramon Magsaysay awardees, members of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen. My short life journey has pretty much only revolved around plastics. In fact, so much so that when I was a young boy, I will always remember the moment when I was walking to school when my mother told me if I didn't do my homework, I'll end up being a garbage man. Today, I am deeply honored to be awarded the Ramon Magsaysay Award for my work as a garbage man. Sometimes I wake up and it feels like a never-ending mission. We will be knee-deep in a river, feeling victorious, but the very next day, with big rains, there's almost more plastics than the previous day. A new study reveals that there's no surface on Earth without signs of plastic pollution. This means that every island in Indonesia or in the Philippines, under some shell, some rock, has signs of plastic pollution. Every single minute, one garbage truck full of plastic pollution enters the ocean through rivers and streams. And in the next decade, we're set to triple global plastic production. Is this the legacy we really want to leave behind? It calls for collective action. We need a radical shift on how we use and how we think about plastics. And it starts directly in our rivers, where we can still stop this disaster from destroying our planet and our health. We need to focus on scalable solutions and implement them quickly. In 2 short years of running Sungai Watch, we have seen the potential for change by harnessing the power of community. And due to growing public awareness of plastic pollution, we've already had to move some of our barriers because no more plastics are polluting those rivers. It feels like the rivers have graduated from our programs. But we are destroying our planet quicker than we can fix it. And now we need to let our planet rest and heal. We've cleaned up some of the dirtiest rivers, and when we fully restore them, we let nature do its work. We've seen mangroves regrow, we've seen fish come back. As we continue to push for better waste management, cleaning up plastics is only the first step. Processing the trash and turning it into valuable products is a whole other business opportunity. So that is what we're doing. We're collecting, sorting, treating, and recycling the trash that we collect. We turn garbage into an economical incentive to fund back our cleanup programs. At Sungai Watch, we understand that there's value in the things that we throw away. What if we could sweep all the plastics out there, repurpose it, and make sure that it never pollutes our rivers again? So our next goal is to scale to 1,000 of the world's most polluted rivers. But we cannot do this alone. There's a lot of work ahead of us, and this is just the beginning. I hope that everyone here today will join me in some small way on this lifelong journey against plastic pollution. The little boy inside of me would have never imagined I would become a garbage man. But here I am, very proud to be cleaning river by river on this mission for a plastic-free world. What a celebration it is to be with all of you today. My parents are here from Bali. My co-founders and my partner in crime, I'd like for them to stand up. My sister, we flew all the way from Paris. My brother, Sam. And the rest of the team of Sungai Watch, which are fighting rivers every single day, who are watching from back home in Indonesia and the rest of the world. Matur suksemo, like we say in Balinese. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much.
In order to reduce the stigmas, people need to do a lot of campaigns to raise awareness on mental health issues, to destigmatize people with mental health problems. In order to address the trauma of the peoples, we need to address from a holistic approach. So in order to promote healings, the victim need justice, and the victim need truth. This kind of truth, accountability, justice, contribute to healing and reconciliation.
The 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Award, Sotira Chin. In times of great uncertainties, danger, and stress, mental health is an issue of urgent concern. Yet the problem does not quite get the needed response in terms of public health programs, facilities, and services. Thus, the initiatives taken by private individuals and organizations are extremely important. The case of Soteara Chim is nothing short of heroic. He was only 7 years old when the Khmer Rouge took power in Cambodia in 1975 and forced the people of Phnom Penh and other cities to rural camps for a regimen of slave labor and re-education. Children like Chim were separated from their parents to work in these camps. It took more than 3 years before Chim was reunited with his family when Phnom Penh was liberated in 1979. In a country psychologically devastated by a genocidal rule that claimed 1.7 million lives, Chim studied medicine at Phnom Penh's University of Health Sciences and was among the first Cambodian psychiatrists to graduate after years of war. The challenge that faced him was forbidding. It is said that 40% of Cambodians suffer from mental health problems. Yet, the resources needed to address the problem are direly lacking.
only 2% of health centers and 59% of referral hospitals offer mental health services to outpatients. There are only 2 psychiatric inpatient units with 14 beds to serve a country of 15 million. In 2002, Chim became a leading figure in the field of mental health in this country when he assumed as Executive Director of Cambodia's Transcultural Psychosocial Organization, or TPO. Based in Phnom Penh, it has more than 40 medical professionals and staff and has satellite offices in 4 provinces. TPO worked on the Truth, Trauma, and the Victims of Torture project at the time the Khmer Rouge Tribunal was investigating the Cambodian genocide, and Chim took part as an expert witness. Chim and TPO worked with the tribunal in a project that provided treatment and training in post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, in tandem with Documentary Center Cambodia, the organization that documented the genocide. TPO practiced testimonial therapy, a localized version of an internationally recognized treatment method developed for PTSD cases resulting from mass organized violence. With the help of therapists, survivors record their traumatic experience, and a formal testimony is produced, which is then presented by the survivor in a public ceremony presided over by a monk. It is a ritual with healing spiritual effects. Chim also developed the Cambodian concept of baksbat, literally broken courage, for understanding trauma in ways more nuanced and appropriate to the Cambodian experience than PTSD. TPO runs a clinic in Phnom Penh that has served thousands of patients. Its activities include gender-based violence counseling for victims of rape, forced marriages, and other forms of violence against women, a hotline service that provided counseling and referrals during the COVID-19 pandemic, and Operation Unchained, which treats mentally ill patients locked up or chained at home and educates families on how to better care for them. In electing Sotira Chim to receive the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Award, the Board of Trustees recognizes his calm courage in surmounting deep trauma to become his people's healer, his transformative work amidst the great need and seemingly insurmountable difficulties, and for showing that daily devotion to the best of one's profession can itself be a form of greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee from Cambodia, Sotira Chim. Sotira Chim of Cambodia will now deliver his response.
The Board of Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundations, members of the Ramon Magsaysay families, my fellows 2022's Ramon Magsaysay awardees, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished government officials, ladies and gentlemen. I am still in disbelief to be here in Manila to receive Asia's most prestigious prize, the Ramon Magsaysay Award. This award is very special to me on both professional and personal level. It is an acknowledgement of the work that my organization, Transcultural Psychosocial Organization Cambodia, have done to alleviate the suffering of Cambodian people from trauma and mental health problems over the past decade. Cambodia history has shaped my career path. Please allow me to quickly share my own personal history. I was born into a family of architects. Since childhood, I dreamed to become one and to build skyscraper in Phnom Penh. My dream and plans were shattered by the Khmer Rouge, who reigned Cambodia for over 3 years, 8 months, and 20 days. During this regime, the intellectuals and in the country were brutally murdered, with only 40 doctors surviving. We felt traumatized and demoralized. We Cambodians were all living in deep trauma, with Batsbat literally means broken courage. Given our dire situation, my mother insisted me that to study medicine and become a doctor. There is a great need in help to save people's lives. Thus, I stopped pursuing my dream and decided to become an obedient son. As a young doctor in remote area, I saw the great need of psychosocial help. I realized that this is perhaps my calling to provide much needed psychosocial care to my countrymen, especially those in the rural area. My organization, TPO Cambodia, offers mental health service to hundreds of thousands of Cambodians. Through our tireless effort, the stigma on mental health has been reduced, and now more and more people are seeking mental health care. This award comes with a prize money. I am donating all this to TPO initiative, Operation Unchained, to continue to treat and unchain more patients who are in need of help. I will continue to implement the project until there are no more patients chained in the country. I can stand before you today without hesitation to say that I have no regret in following my mother's advice. She always taught me to do the right things. After all, she named me Sutira, which means gentle, humble, kind, and compassionate. I hope that I have lived up to this name. Words cannot express my sincerest gratitude to be given the Ramon Magsaysay Awards, but please allow me to thank the foundation for this great honor. I would like to thank my wonderful TPO family who are now in the other room watching live, who have been working with me in this advocacy work. 43 of them. Thank you. 43 of them are here today to celebrate this. Thank you. I also wish to thank my Filipino professor, Professor Cornelio Banaak, who taught me 26 years ago. And it is this time that I can see him again after 26 years. Thank you, Professor. And most importantly, I would like to thank my family, my beloved wife, Chantara, and my 2 children, Chancharya and Chan Usa, who are always with me in my life. Without their support, I will not be able to do this work. I wish everyone in Asia precepts longevity, duty, health, strength, and wisdom. Som Okun. Thank you so much. Marimang salamat.
If grandparents regain vision, they can take care of their grandchildren so that their fathers and mothers can work. Being able to see things not only helps the person, but also the whole family. When I'm in Vietnam, my father's words are at the top of my mind, that I have something to contribute, don't I?
2022 Ramon Magsaysay Award, Tadashi Hattori. Stories of otherwise ordinary individuals who, by the spirit of pure generosity, can transform the lives of so many, make us feel good and hopeful about the world. This is the story of Tadashi Hattori. Hattori graduated from medical school in Kyoto in 1993 and worked in hospitals in Japan. Asked why he wanted to be a doctor, he said that he set his sights on becoming one when he was 15, after seeing his father, who was so rudely treated when he was admitted to the hospital with cancer. Hattori resolved then to become a doctor. In 2002, he visited Hanoi for the first time and found that in a country where cataract blindness was prevalent, there was a dire lack of eye specialists and up-to-date facilities, that it was common for people to go blind because they did not have access to needed care or could not afford the cost. He was so moved with concern that what was supposed to be just a visit became a life mission. This set him off on a life of shuttling between Japan and Vietnam every year, spending 180 days in Vietnam, giving free eye treatments, training Vietnamese doctors, donating equipment and supplies to hospitals, and then spending the rest of the year in Japan, working in hospitals to raise an income for his family and for his mission. Explaining his passion to help, he says, whether people can see or not decisively affects their lives. Even just healing one eye may make it possible for someone to attend school or go back to work. I can't turn my back on people who are on the verge of losing their sight just because they lack the money to pay for treatment. My starting point as a doctor is to help people. Perhaps remembering his father, Hattori says, a doctor should have not only the skills, but also the heart. That's why my motto is, treat your patients as your parents. To date, Hattori and his team of Vietnamese doctors have treated more than 20,000 patients. He has trained more than 30 Vietnamese doctors who can now perform sophisticated eye operations and has donated or facilitated the donation of advanced equipment to local hospitals. Cognizant that the need is greatest in the rural areas, he has led medical missions with Vietnamese doctors, performing free treatments and surgeries for thousands of people. To upscale his work, Hattori founded Asia Pacific Prevention of Blindness Association in 2005 to enlist support in training doctors, helping hospitals, and conducting free treatment and surgeries. In 2014, with investors and medical colleagues, he established Japan International Eye Hospital in Hanoi to serve paying patients as a way of building a sustainable fund for free outreach programs. Called the man with golden hands because of his surgical skill, Hattori would insist that it is the heart that matters and continues to epitomize the highest form of individual social responsibility. In electing Tadashi Hattori to receive the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Award, the Board of Trustees recognizes his simple humanity and extraordinary generosity as a person and a professional. His skill and compassion in bringing the gift of sight to tens of thousands of people not his own, and the inspiration he has given by his shining example that one person can make a big difference for the good in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardee from Japan, Tadashi Hattori.
Tadashi Hattori of Japan will now deliver his response.
Trustee of Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, member of the Magsaysay family, and fellow Ramon Magsaysay awardee, and member of diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen, I stand here today honored and humbled to be conferred the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award, the greatest honor. I, by no means, elite doctor. I kept failing entrance exam. It took 4 years to be accepted to the medical school, and 7 more years to graduate. But the reason why I did not give up because of a promise I made to myself when I was 17. That was when I overheard the medical staff speaking disrespectfully of my father, who was fighting of his last fight against cancer. I said to myself, then I become a doctor who can empathize with the feeling of a patient. That conviction has stayed since. I parted with what comfortable life I had in Japan for a new challenge in Vietnam 20 years ago because of the same conviction. There is shocking prevalence cataract, blindness in the country. What was more shocking, that was the patient typically would become the hospital only when they are in dire situation, when they lost sight in both eyes. I met once 6 years boy who was one eye light negative, the other eye retinal detachment. He needed surgery urgently, but the day of the surgery, he could not sorry. It's okay. Yeah. But on the day of the surgery, he did not show up. He could not afford the surgery. How was this 6 years boy going to live the rest of his life? Was there anything that I could have done? I have not able to forgive myself since then for having let the boy go. That was when I decided when the patient cannot pay, I will simply tell them, no worry, I will be all right. It will be all right. I will pay for all my pocket money. And so please have a surgery. Most of you never conscious that you can see. Now, may I ask you, all of you, to close both eyes for just a moment? How would you feel if you have to live in the darkness for the rest of your life? That will have to depend on your family to assist you all your life. How would you feel if you were that 6 years boy? Please open your eye now. It scared me too. Think about the darkness. But that is precisely the situation millions of people still find themselves in today. When a child cannot read or write, unable to go to school because of the blindness, it means the child deprived of opportunity to explore the full potential of the life that God has given. There are adults who cannot see and live every day feeling helpless, useless, and hopeless simply because they do not see the light ahead in life. Is there anything I can do as an ophthalmologist? It is bring the light to such people so that they will turn their despair to hope and live a better life they deserve to live. As I said, I'm a no-mean elite doctor. I just feel with the joy when the patients smile, when they can see it again. I find happiness in working with doctors that I train and providing free surgery for the people across the region, Asia. My wish to be there where it is needed, where there are people who want to see the light, because I know that the regaining vision is not only about the able to see, but about discovering hope in life. Let there be light. God bless you all. I'd like to introduce my fellow, my friend and brother, Dr. Hon, come from Vietnam. He is a very contribution for our activity. Thank you so much. So, arigatou gozaimasu.
That every child deserves to be loved, and that if anyone hurts them, they should tell somebody they trust. And they should tell and tell until something is done. They should not suffer in silence. What this award means is that more people will know about child abuse, and that way what they themselves can contribute to stop it and to prevent it from happening. Because I will be talking about that over and over again.
how to stop it and how to prevent it. And why I'm happy? It's because we can do something. Because we're not helpless. And because we see success. So that's why.
The 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Award, Bernadette J. Madrid. Violence against children is a dark stain on our common humanity. A silent scourge that is not seen because the problem is often suppressed and unreported. It does not get the attention it demands. Child protection laws and safety nets are weak or non-existent. Trained medical professionals and social workers are lacking, and health facilities dedicated to the problem are absent or inadequate.
In the Philippines, Bernadette J. Madrid has devoted her career to ensuring that the problem is seen and fully addressed. Born to a family of professionals in Iloilo, she studied medicine and pediatrics at the University of the Philippines, Manila, UP Manila, and did a post-residency fellowship at Montefiore Medical Center in New York. The center's child abuse program opened her eyes to a problem mostly overlooked in her home country, despite its prevalence. Upon her return home, she tried to establish a child abuse program in the Philippine General Hospital, PGH, in Manila, the country's premier public hospital, but the program was short-lived for lack of support. In 1996, however, a breakthrough came when she was called back to head an emergency unit for abused children in PGH, which support child protection advocacy groups. Madrid assumed as head of the PGH Child Protection Unit, PGH CPU, the first such facility in the country. She would, in the next 25 years, pursue an active, multifaceted career that would put her at the helm of what has been praised as the best medical system for abused children in Southeast Asia. A one-stop health facility, PGH CPU provides a coordinated program of medical, legal, social, and mental health services for abused children and their families. As of 2021, it has served 27,639 children. It became the axis of a national network of CPUs when the Child Protection Network Foundation, or CPN, a partnership of civil society, academia, and government, was established in 2002. As CPN Executive Director, Madrid engaged with family courts, schools, hospitals, local government units, community organizations, and policymakers in advancing the cause of child protection. In partnership with UP Manila, PGH CPU, CPN, Department of Health, local government units, and the private sector, the Network of Women and Child Protection Units, WCPUs, was formed. The network now consists of 123 WCPUs in 61 provinces and 10 cities, which has served 119,965 children and adolescents and 30,912 women. The network has a total staff of 237 physicians, 199 social workers, and 85 police officers. As head of CPN, Madrid oversees and coordinates the network's 5 areas of work: medical and psychosocial care, child safety and legal protection, a national program for training in child protection, a national network of WCPUs, and research for a national database on child abuse. It is multidisciplinary work that calls for Madrid to be all at once a doctor, educator, researcher, social leader, organizer, and advocate,
she has pursued it with humility and strength grounded in faith. She says, and I quote, "I feel that I was prepared to do this work. I was given the talent to do this, and it has developed as I worked. That's why I'm happy. It has become, for me, work that is God's work." In electing Bernadette J. Madrid to receive the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Award, the Board of Trustees recognizes her unassuming and steadfast commitment to a noble and demanding advocacy, her leadership in running a multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary effort in child protection that is admired in Asia, and her competence and compassion in devoting herself to seeing that every abused child lives in a healing, safe, and nurturing society. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee from the Philippines, Bernadette J. Madrid.
Bernadette J. Madrid of the Philippines will now deliver her response.
The Board of Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, the family of President Ramon Magsaysay, headed by Senator Ramon B. Magsaysay Jr. and Milagros Magsaysay Valenzuela, my co-awardees, and our Ramon Magsaysay laureates, members of the Diplomatic Corps, children's rights workers across Asia, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so overwhelmed to have been selected to receive the Ramon Magsaysay Award. Thank you all for coming to celebrate this momentous occasion with me. I am so honored that my work is recognized by Asia's most prestigious award. I was asking, why me? I found more reasons as to why I am undeserving of this award. It is like the violin player claiming recognition for the work of the whole orchestra. I'm just one violin player. The other members of the orchestra are here tonight, and I share this award with each and every one of them. This award is our work. Please stand up and take a bow. You're there. Women and children protection units in every province is our core work. This year, the Philippine General Hospital is celebrating its 25th anniversary. In the last 25 years, I have learned that there are no quick fixes, that we cannot do this alone, that we need the system to work, that ordinary people need to do their job with purpose, compassion, and skill. Unfortunately, I also learned that ending violence against children will not happen on its own. We need to fight for it. It needs planning, commitment, resources, persistence, and leadership. With it comes accountability. There is no other cause where everyone in this country has a responsibility, starting with parents, schools, communities. Universal parenting programs, safe schools, access to justice may seem like common sense, but they are not. When we meet with leaders, they say, child protection is a nice issue, and we will get there after we have solved this crisis or that crisis. But violence against children is a crisis. Children are fast becoming an endangered species, and with them goes our humanity. We can prevent violence against children, and more importantly, we know how. We are the stewards of this planet, and particularly the children. We are the stewards of their soul. The Ramon Magsaysay Award has made me realize how much people care and that I am not alone. Can we count on you? If we can, please stand up. Place your right hand on your heart and repeat after me. Ako, para sa bata. I am for the child. I am humbled and appreciative. Thank you.
The Ramon Magsaysay Award has always celebrated inspiring leaders in Asia, and our keynote speaker is one of the most revered figures in politics, philanthropy, and the development sector. He led a globally acclaimed family planning service and HIV/AIDS preventive care in his country. In 1994, he received Asia's premier prize and highest honor, the Ramon Magsaysay Award, for, quote, mounting creative public campaigns in Thailand to promote family planning, rural development, and a rigorous, honest, and compassionate response to the plague of AIDS, unquote. He has since expanded his impactful and innovative work addressing poverty alleviation, social entrepreneurship, and youth education. A world-renowned civil society icon, he continues to revolutionize education for the youth in Thailand and all of Southeast Asia. Please welcome 1994 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee from Thailand, Michai Viravaidya.
Board of Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, members of the family of President Ramon Magsaysay, headed by his children, Ramon Magsaysay Jr. and Milikarat Magsaysay Valenzuela. My fellow Magsaysay laureates in the Philippines, in Thailand, in India, and across Asia. Members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, this year's 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardees and their families. I am most delighted to have this opportunity to honor the Ramon Magsaysay awardees for the year 2022. All of us in the audience are sure that you are most gratified and humbled to become members of a unique group of outstanding Asian citizens. The Asian community fully understands that the Magsaysay Award is given to those who will inspire others. What you have achieved is simple but elegant. There are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or influence, but those like you who lead inspire us. Your powerful and penetrating exploration is what separates good leaders and the rest. I am sure that your work has led you to a level of excellence that in earlier years you had never considered obtainable. All of us in the audience applaud you for what you have done and hope you will go on to greater things. But most importantly, we also hope that you will inspire the next young generation to follow your footsteps. As a Magsaysay laureate many years ago, I joined the audience to urge you to continue your good work and to create a new generation of exciting young change makers. I would like to humbly suggest that one promising approach that I have recently undertaken is to work through schools and help schools to become gateways for social and economic empowerment in surrounding communities. Students today need to learn more than academic subjects. They need to also learn life skills and occupational skills so that eventually they can help themselves as well as others. We need to urge the private sector to partner with us to improve the quality of education and simultaneously and to raise the quality of life and income in communities surrounding the schools. This will bring the community members closer to the school. Apart from learning agricultural and business skills, especially in rural schools, students need to be trained how to serve their communities and to raise funds for worthwhile activities in areas surrounding their schools. They will quickly learn that they need to have a good project to enable them to attract funding. Magsaysay laureates need to inspire these young people to be leaders of tomorrow who feel strongly that it is their duty and joy to reduce inequalities that exist in their surrounding. Magsaysay laureates are also in an excellent position to get cooperation from the private sector, for example, to create Young Leadership Awards for students under 19. I'm sure that the Magsaysay Award Foundation look forward to receiving new ideas of future consideration by changemakers like the awardees we are honoring today. We need the Magsaysay Award to be more known by citizens of our country by producing a simple publication about the awardees in our land. This can be made sufficiently interesting and even to be part of our school curriculum. I offer to start a publication in Thailand on our awardees to be read by school students as well as adults. I also have another proposal to put to the 40 awardees, and that is to create a Magsaysay volunteer program between our countries in cooperation with the Philippines. There are many areas that we can work together on, such as the exchange of young teachers. One obvious need is English competency, and the Philippines is in a most prominent position to lead. Perhaps we could have a workshop among our awardees to discuss this further. And finally, I would like to express my appreciation to the Magsaysay Award Foundation for the opportunity to address our new 4 awardees. Once again, I congratulate you and urge you to continue to lead and create a new generation of change makers who will lead like yourselves. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you to our guest of honor, Michai Biravaidya. As a tribute to the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardees, we will present to you a special performance by an internationally acclaimed children's choir. They will render a song entitled A Better World, composed by none other than our National Artist of the Philippines for Music and 2019 Ramon Magsaysay awardee, Maestro Raimundo Pujante Cayabyab. Ryan, I know you're somewhere here. Please wave. There you go. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mandaluyong Children's Choir under the baton of Maestro Sebastian Trinidad. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardees, Gary Benchigib of Indonesia, Sotira Chim of Cambodia, Tadashi Hattori of Japan, Bernadette J. Madrid of the Philippines. We request Chairman Montinola and Senator Magsaysay to please join 2022 Ramon Magsaysay awardees. The 64th Ramon Magsaysay Awards presentation ceremonies are now concluded. Thank you for your presence. May we request you to all rise for the exit of colors. May we request everyone to please remain standing until after the recessional. All are invited to greet the 2022 awardees at a reception in the lobby.